Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Designer Playbook webinar for November. My name is Andrea Lillo, and I'm the executive editor of Designers Today. And I'm so happy you joined us today because we'll be talking about how to build a successful omni-channel strategy. And we have a fantastic panel assembled for you today. So I thought to start, I'll just have my panel briefly introduce themselves, and then we'll dive right into questions. So, Cass, would you like to briefly introduce yourself to start?
Hi, I'm Cass Key. I'm creative director for Woodbridge Furniture. We are a case goods manufacturer headquartered in Thomasville, North Carolina, and I'm zooming today from our showroom in High Point.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us. And Katie, you're next on my list, so
Sure.
I'm going to Zoom.
Sure. I'm Katie Miner. I'm the general manager of ADAC, the design center located in Atlanta. We also have a sister property, America's Mart, here in Atlanta, which has open year-round showrooms. And I am International Market Centers, also has the Las Vegas Design Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. But I'm here in our ADAC Design Center in my office at ADAC.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Kelly, how about yourself?
Hi, Kelly Schellert, founder of Ethos Design Collective and managing partner, and I am a luxury interior designer as well for about 25 years, and I am at my home office in St. Louis, Missouri.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, panelists, for your time today and your expertise. And viewers, if you have any questions throughout the panel, feel free to put them in the Q&A, and we will try to get to questions during the panel. So we're going to get started with the phrase omni-channel strategy. That can mean so many different things to so many people. There's so many options. So I was hoping each of you could talk about how specifically it relates to your business, like what platforms you use to communicate your message and conduct business and engage your audience, as well as on those different platforms, how do you tailor your messaging? How does it shift when you're doing different platforms? So does anyone, Cass, do you want to start?
Sure. I mean, as a manufacturer, we're really B2B. So our main channels, I would say, for marketing would be email and Instagram, and our website. For processing orders, it's just our website or email because we're B2B and we have to have customers registered and all of that. So a little different from our perspective.
That's fine. Okay. And Katie?
So from a digital standpoint, we're going to utilize email, e-newsletters, certainly our website, and a robust social media strategy. Instagram is by far our strongest social media channel, although Facebook and Pinterest are also very strong for us as well. But since we are a design center, we are not transactional. We don't actually sell any products. So, our goal is to drive our audience not only to our websites for research and maybe signing up for events, or more importantly, physically to our showrooms in our design center. But with our markets, we've started to record all of our market panel presentations and keynotes. So our YouTube channel is also growing right now as one of our strong social media channels, because we're putting out that content of all of our recordings from our market presentations and our business days as well on YouTube. Outside of digital, we're still very strong in print advertising and direct mail and targeted mailings to our audience.
Okay, wonderful. That's great. So Kelly, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the Ethos Design Collective and how you are building the brand across platforms.
Yeah, and how we are doing that. So we nurture our members and bring in our vendor partners and sponsors into monthly Zoom educational meetings and monthly meetings, and we'll plan those out for the next year ahead. And so we do use Instagram. That is one of our major arenas to celebrate our members, our sponsors, sharing, our members' content. So every time they post, we have our own hashtags like Ethos I and Design, Ethos Design Collective. And when we see those, like we actually search for those and we will share those. So we've created a strategy using that. We're getting ready to launch our own brand ambassador program, which we just kicked off our first meeting with them. And when we put it out to our membership right before High Point, it came back with so much interest in that. And how we're really going to utilize that is through partner programming, which has been our strategy all along, is really nurturing more partnerships with our sponsors, doing events, obviously, like Katie said, recording those and having those. But we are also reinvesting in a new evolved platform and dashboard where our website will have not only the designer portal, but it will allow luxury consumers as well as our vendor partners and sponsors and the designers to all interact through a mobile app. And it's a lot more robust and everything that we're building towards with our partner programs. And Cass will talk about that in a minute. Through this, it also has the ability for the designers to directly have to put out there like an e-commerce through our Ethos platform on the luxury consumer facing side, where it's great for our sponsor partners is that if they have a new product launch, this same software will allow them to upload it as an announcement through their own dashboard. And once we approve it, it just goes out to all of our members, the designers, as well as the sponsor partners and luxury consumers that are on our platform. So it's really exciting to be developing through this more of a partner strategy in this vetted ecosystem, because I'm also connected to a luxury consumer network across the country, and now we're working into Canada as well. And to have the brand ambassadors host events through Ethos events partnered with trades and for other designers, but also with these luxury consumers. And what that does is it drives them back to our site and has them, be able to look at the portfolios of designers in their area to hire directly. So it's a multi-targeted strategy, but we're using our own platform as well as social media, and how our messaging changes. It just depends on who we're talking to and bringing them to our website. If it's somebody that we want to partner with, we're going to show, we're getting ready to launch, this showing how we're succeeding with our sponsor partners, because we're now a year in and we have some really cool things to show from that. And we're about to launch a capsule collection at Las Vegas Market, which I know BridgeTower Media and Designers Today just put out, and Furniture Today magazine. So that's exciting for us to really work hand in hand with our partners and the ecosystem.
That's great. So I was curious, so you talked about the software and the app. Is that launching, now, or when is that going to come on board?
We just brought on another partner to do software. And so we're looking, our target date really, because we have an event launching mid-January that we're going to start promoting pretty soon. And our goal is to have that up by mid-January, to have that whole thing launched, the new homepage. It's been rebranded with Julia Malloy, all of that by mid-January.
That's great. And I had one other question. When you say luxury consumer, how are you, what does that mean? Like, what's the definition for you for luxury consumer for your brand?
So I have designed 2 Lamborghinis with my clients, and they're my legacy clients. I've worked on multiple homes, businesses with them. And so I'm really tied in with their community. And the first Lamborghini I spec'd and worked with them on the entire thing. The second one was more of a color development early on and sampling, but we just had the reveal party Saturday night. So across the country, they have these exotic motor car clubs. And so Need for Speed Official sponsors us through and they host events. One of them, they brought in Roger Dubuis, which is the watchmaker. Each car manufacturer like Lamborghini, Ferrari has their own watchmaker, and they make watches that can cost up to $750,000 each. So they have these events, throughout the year. And so we are actually tied in with them, and we'll be partnering with them and our brand ambassadors to have events and attend these events and represent Ethos and create educational programming and bring in really great speakers. So it's that level of clients, that the ideal clients that our luxury designers are looking to serve. So they are getting a chance to get right in front of these luxury consumers and help educate them on trends and things at these events across the country, and even into Canada as early as next year.
Okay, well, that's definitely sounds luxury to me. Wonderful. So Cass, Woodbridge Furniture just recently partnered with Ethos Design Collective. I know it's the designer platform initiative. Can you talk a little bit about why Woodbridge decided to come on board with Ethos, and where do you see that going?
Designers collectively are representing about 45% of our total volume as a company, and that's growing, and we love those relationships. However, that's a large customer pool representing that 45% of the total volume. So it's hard to speak to the group collectively. And Ethos provides a platform where we can, get in front of 60, 70, hopefully soon 200 designers at one time. Kelly provides us an opportunity to do Zoom training and custom curated events with her group, which is really, it's difficult because of course, as you well know, designers are all working independently across the country from different offices. And it's, you try to get these 5-minute snippets during furniture market, which is really the only FaceTime that we have with our customers other than calls or emails. So the Ethos group is really unique in that regard. And it really gives us some really personal relationship building with these designers, and it helps educate and onboard them much more seamlessly. And then to take it a step further, we've developed some curated product for the group to help them, take their designs and set them apart and have it be product that can't be shopped online, that they can only be purchased through that designer. They all have their own custom color, and we are color draping 3 to 5 pieces for each designer in his or her color. And so should anyone else ever try to order that piece, we would know immediately, no, that belongs to Kelly. That's in her signature color. That's not even a Sherwin-Williams paint color. So there's no way that you could have seen that somewhere else or shopped that somewhere else. So it helps us to tie that sale back to the originator and help protect, their creative work in that way. And it also exposed us to a big group of new customers. When Kelly sent me her list of members, we scrubbed that down pretty closely and realized only about 10% of her members were already customers of Woodbridge. So it was automatically a win-win for us because it helped us be exposed to a new group of designers.
That's great. It sounds like and the program, you launched the initial collection this past High Point, or is that coming up in January?
No, we actually launched it. We disclosed it to the members in January, I believe, Kelly, right? And then it took everyone a couple months to get the information to us and for us to get the pieces back in the hands of the designer, color draped accordingly in their color. We'd like to get to the point where they are 3D renderings of the pieces, and that involves some build up on our end, with the CGI work that we've got to get on board with. That's a big probably topic of one of our questions later on, but I'd say really the collection's launched in October for these designers, and we still haven't gotten to everyone, but it's been in the works since April. Okay,
wonderful. That sounds great. So Katie, what omnichannel resources does ADAC and the Las Vegas Design Center use to support designers? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So our audience really heavily leverages our website for research, discovery about products that are represented here in our showrooms. I mean, we have over 1,200 lines just at ADAC alone. And so, you know, our audience is going to go to our website. We have an online directory that's going to feature each of those brands. And so that, you know, designers and really even clients can understand all of the breadth and depth of product that is represented just even here in this building. They will also use our online floor plans for pre-market planning, or even just because we're open daily, any of our just pre-travel plans as they're coming to our center to understand, you know, where each of the showrooms located and what brands are represented within that showroom so that they can plan out their travel and their on-site experience prior to market. But then, of course, you know, we are very heavy in events, not only our market events. We have, you know, 2 markets each year here just at ADAC and at our other properties as well. But then we do business series. We have events in each of our regions. You know, the Southeast region alone is a 10-state region, and we get out into that region and do all sorts of events. So our website is going to show, you know, what are those events that are coming up, whether it's a market event or something that's happening like an antique show in Nashville and in our region. And so they'll obviously gather more information about those events, register for those events. And our web analytics are showing that that website is one of our strongest tools and most powerful tools that we have. And then at our sister property. So again, America's Mart has floors that are open year round. And many designers are shopping those on a regular basis, as is Las Vegas Design Center. And their market websites are the same thing. They're enhanced, allowing buyers to research, plan, source, discover what showrooms and what brands are at their centers, their market centers. And it's obviously an easy tool. It's 24/7, 365 days a year. And the websites are searchable by keyword, company name, product, to make it really easy. But those 2 properties also have, they're working on an enhanced mobile app to extend that market experience, and that's in development right now. So that will, more information to come there.
That's great. Okay. Yeah, it's very important nowadays. Like, people want information immediately. They don't want to wait around anymore. So absolutely, that sounds like a great 24/7 access for sure. So Kelly, I know you have some information to share about how people buy on social media. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, and when I started doing research for the omni-channel strategy and what I thought she wanted me to talk about, you know, Cindy, I really started looking at metrics. And I think that any part of a strategy is understanding your metrics. And so going back and having the ability, so if you're on Instagram, making sure you're having a business account where you have analytics and you can track all of that, right? So when I started researching all of this, and I do subscribe to market and key, you know, for key factors in key industry, and just really paying attention to those things. So if you're on specific platforms, you also have to understand who are those platforms targeting, who is actually buying off those platforms. So, you know, knowing that Facebook, you know, is still the #1 ranking for purchases, but Instagram really is soon, they're saying that will soon overtake that. And so understanding, you know, why that is because video is such a huge thing with Reels. So if we're looking at that, that's why we've been doing more video Reels of our designers and user generated content, because that's massive. It's like third-party testimony, you know. So on Instagram, knowing that it's lifestyle, so anything under the lifestyle that's the top selling product, understanding, you know, that platform, and Instagram really, you know, is targeting millennials and Gen Z, and that accounts for a larger portion. So then you have to look at the buying habits of those those two groups on Instagram. And right now, millennials are actually at the top of those lifestyles, purchases, that's fashion, beauty, health, and wellness, are really, really massive. Home goods kind of comes in around the same area as the electronics. But a lot of that, I think, has been driven by these video reels, and also from, I know we don't like to use the C word, but there are a lot of hack videos that they're showing even on TikTok. And TikTok really, for anybody who's interested in influencer marketing, is massively coming up very quickly, and rolling out their own with these video reels. And so there's going to be a major shift towards the TikTok, even for home goods and things like that, where health and wellness and beauty and those kind of things were driving it mainly. YouTube is also a massive, I know Katie was talking about that, but for purchases, it's like ranking number 3 right now, which is huge, and since they rolled out, I don't know if people are aware that they pay per view to influencers and things that are posting on there. So it has become a major draw for influencers to be posting on there, because they're starting to make passive income from that, because it's 24/7 revenue generating for them. They record it once and it can be played and found, anywhere in the world, and repeated. And by having affiliate links in there that they're making money off the back end, they post it once and then it's just ongoing. So those are the biggest ones that I think that everybody is using. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube seem to be the ranking and purchasing.
Yeah, and I was curious, so how often do you post on those websites? Is it like on a weekly basis, or when you get a video?
Every day I'm literally looking at what the designer members are posting, and even sponsors, and I've created highlights for not only our designer members but also sponsors. So I'm looking at anytime they're posting, I'm sharing their content to help drive traffic to them as well. So every day I wake up, that's one of the first things that I do, is I go and I look, and unless I haven't, like today I had an early morning appointment where I couldn't do that, but typically that's my daily strategy, and having a repeatable, like a consistent schedule of looking at those things pretty much daily on Instagram, Facebook. Our group, our inner circle group for our designers, is hosted there. So that's probably 2 to 3 times a week. I'll be posting in their birthdays, nurturing the group, opportunities for them, and then also hosting the Zoom calls with our partner sponsors. So it just depends on what events are coming up. High Point, I know Instagram is a huge place that when people are at market, they're looking at Instagram. So I have a highlight for High Point Market and different markets too, that, I'm posting content in there almost daily.
Okay, wonderful. Well, you had mentioned Gen Z earlier. So BridgeTower Media has its research department recently conducted a survey and found that by 2030, generation Gen Z will be almost half of the consumers out there, which is crazy, but that's what's happening. And the same survey found that almost half of respondents also see as social media as a primary driver for purchasing decisions.
Yeah.
So knowing that, like, how does that translate for each of you and how you do business as or with designers, knowing that social media is going to be a primary driver, especially going forward, continuing as we're going forward. Cass, do you want to start?
I mean, for us, it's definitely huge about exposure. That's really how we launch any kind of new collection or sneak peek about market. It's how we announce our events we're doing at market. And we've seen, especially with designers who are customers of ours who have a very big social media presence, like our license collection with Lauren Lease, for example. She was on the panel with Kelly and myself at market, and was speaking to how if she shares and posts on social media in a story or a reel or even a post about a product, she will immediately see that product selling on her app. She has an app and on her website. So the e-commerce side of her business is directly linked to her sharing and posting on Instagram in particular, in her example. And she, although we have a licensed collection with her as well, she is still our largest individual designer purchasing directly from us. So we see that those sales coming to us through her, although we can't exactly track where they're coming from, whether it's Instagram or her, design team or her website, but we see the results of that, of her active use on Instagram. And there's a lot of other success stories like that, but she's the first one that comes to mind in our example.
Okay. And Katie, how about you? How do you see, the whole social media thing driving business in the future?
Sure. Well, we're already seeing it now. Knowing that Instagram is already one of our strongest community, social media channels. But everything, as I said before, that we're doing to drive traffic and our audience back to our website for product discovery and product research, but then ultimately into the building and into these showrooms for the purchasing. But we, the design center, since we're not transactional and we can't directly influence the purchasing the way that our brands may be able to do, the brands that are represented here at ADAC are able to do. But what we found is that we can influence the path to purchase. And we do that through our robust social media strategy. And ways that we might do that already and continue to enhance it, because social media changes all the time. And we have a strong team that they're just focused on that and what are the new ways to get in front of our audience. But we might show imagery from a new collection that's represented, like Cass said, that's represented in a showroom, and that might inspire a designer to want to learn more about that collection, or maybe even want to use that something from that collection in an upcoming project that they have that, oh my gosh, that's perfect. That's exactly what I need for this project. So, we're using it in that way. Other ways, we may use a professional photography from a designer in a project that they've completed, and they'll give us the image, and it's, say a living room, and it has product from all over ADAC that, comes together to put that room together. And what that's meant to do is inspire maybe a designer, if they're seeing something for the first time that they've not seen before, but they're seeing it in that image. It also just tells that story of the value of hiring an interior designer, because we have, obviously, ADAC is open to the public, not for purchasing, but they can come in and touch and feel the products in the showroom and browse around. And that is all in an effort to inspire an end user to want to hire an interior designer. So if they're seeing imagery on our social media of this beautifully designed room, then hopefully they're going to want that for themselves and want to hire an interior designer and have a beautifully designed room themselves. So we find that any ways that we can push those images out about what can you take from all over ADAC and put it together in a room, and the products that are available here is meant to inspire those designers and maybe even their clients to come into ADAC and purchase directly in the showrooms.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Kelly, did you have anything else you wanted to add about social media?
Yeah, I do feel like as we develop with more of these vendor partners and being able to share, put out there, share the things that they're doing, also to inspire designers, but also to share the designers' work. And I know through our vendor partners, same thing as Katie's talking about, where if they photograph one of their projects with that product in it, I am more than happy if the designer is willing and they have, the credit from and the okay from the photographer to pass it on. We're absolutely doing that. I'm transferring that on to the vendors so that they can share it across social media and for their marketing strategies as well. So I do see that as being a major future aspect too of the strategy for Ethos. Again, focusing on these partner strategies and how can we work together and understanding their goals on social media. And so we're helping to provide that, and it's win-win because it brings visibility to the designers who need it as well to get hired.
Okay, well, great. So obviously there's a lot of technology that, technology keeps evolving and just getting better. And we're seeing, technology in the horizon that's going to dramatically shift the way business is conducted. So can each of you talk about what you're excited about and why you're excited about it? Cass, do you want to start?
For me personally, we have found statistically that any item on our website that has a lifestyle room setting shot of that item in a room automatically sells more. And so that's been a big goal of mine, is to get a beautiful lifestyle image of every item we sell. We have over 2,000 SKUs that we manufacture, so it's been a big apple to bite off. And so I'm most excited about being able to use CGI images to do room settings. So that's expensive, and we've looked at several different platforms to do that. One we're looking at right now is Live Furnish, and I like their platform because it allows me to do it myself. They have a bank of lamps and rugs and room settings, and then we would import our furniture pieces in there, and I would be able to curate those rooms as creative director. So I like that control. We haven't signed on yet just because Woodbridge as a whole is a very conservative company, and we like to put most of our dollars into our product and into our customers. And so anything that we do like that is very calculated and very heavily considered. So we haven't officially signed on with them yet, but I'm very excited about that technology. And I know we need to get there, because especially as we start to go, to being able to live in virtual rooms that designers are creating before they've purchased a single thing, we've got to have those 3D images ready to roll for that next wave of technology. So I'm excited about that. It's, to me, it's still not the same as seeing it, touching it, feeling it here in our showroom. Same thing with Katie at ADAC. I mean, the end goal is always to drive the consumer to us where they can really have a hands-on experience. But the next best thing right now, to me, it is the CGI images. And I think we discovered that during COVID, being forced into that world. So I'm excited to see where that takes us.
Wonderful. Katie, what about you?
Well, sort of an extension of that is virtual reality. And we're not, and I don't know that it'll necessarily ever be ADAC, but I think our showrooms will certainly get more involved and are already talking about it. So I feel like it's on the horizon. We're not quite there yet. But again, just like Cass is saying, not to take away from the showroom itself, but more of that research and product discovery phase of the project. Can a designer through virtual reality and VR be able to look at a tile in a room and see how, switch out different tiles to see what they're interested in, what they want to, explore more for that project or show to their client. Maybe it's a marble or, a wallpaper or all sorts of things that just in that research stage as they're thinking through what they want to design for their client, that they are able to utilize virtual reality for that. But then again, doesn't take away from the need to go into the showroom because they need to touch and feel. They may need to see what does that fabric look like in natural light that VR would not be, maybe with technology, I don't know, but, being able to really see that in person. And really more importantly, how does that chair feel when they sit in it? That's something that VR is not going to be able to replicate. And when we're looking at, especially the price points, as you get higher and higher in a price point in product that's found at ADAC or Las Vegas Design Center, you really have to have that touch and feel component, that ability to sit in that chair and feel its comfort level, feel its depth. Is that going to work for my client? And the client definitely needs to feel that touch and feel as they, or as the prices begin to increase in customization options. But how much can VR help in that, save the designer time or just in that research side that I think could be really exciting on the horizon to come?
Absolutely, I agree. And Kelly, what about you?
Well, what I'm excited about that is the more photorealistic that these programs are becoming and they're more mobile, where designers can actually take them on iPads and in real time make these changes and get to decisions much quicker. Where I'm excited with our partner strategy is that what we're doing is we're having our designers, once they've created these private label pieces and bringing them these programs, where it protects their purchases, it protects their designs and their creative, is that they can then create these mood boards and brand boards based on their style, their own design style. And through each of our sponsor partners, we're bringing that into their showrooms at both High Point Market and Las Vegas Market and having events there to promote that. So where that helps, I think both the designer and these vendors, for instance, the capsule collection we're launching at Las Vegas, they're giving us a flat screen television. So our 50+ designers are each creating a 3D board based on creating this lifestyle imagery around these pieces that will then be on display in a showroom setting year round. So, and we've had 10 of the designers plus myself actually created prototype pieces that will be on the floor that they can touch, but then they're allowed to see. So we understand that not every designer, every client is coming from a different style or taste. So when you are able to put up their 50+ luxury designers vision based on a different design style or a different niche of design, where some of them are coming from hospitality and hotel, and how, you know, these same pieces can be done in different finishes, and you're able to show such a wide range in a photorealistic style that gets everyone excited and in that mindset of purchasing and working with those designers. And with Cass, you know, that event with Lauren and Toby where we did that panel, we were able to show these. We took some of our designer members and the pieces they created, because, you know, the question for them was, how can we access some of these same pieces and put them, are we just going to be showing the same design? But we were able to show 3 very distinctively different lifestyle boards based on that designer's design sensibility to the crowd that was there for the breakfast panel. And I think it went over pretty well, don't you think, Cass, from that standpoint? Yeah. It's selling a lifestyle in a realistic way and showing how easy it is to do that. And I'm actually, Cass doesn't know this, but I have a call this week with a 3D company to help us create, our designer members to create these 3D lifestyle boards around, you know, with each vendor sponsor that we're working with. And it's just, again, always looking at win-win strategies, but I'm very excited about nurturing those opportunities and looking at what technology, not just where it is now, but kind of looking on the horizon and saying what's coming and where can we push the envelope to the next thing, and trying to be there before anybody else is, and creating these programs to do that.
Right. It's amazing how far technology has come, but it seems like it's just going to get faster and just make us more efficient. And ideally, if you know you want to be in person, but if not, then this is you know, second best solution. I think it's going to make. We'll see what happens in another year or two. Technology will be surpassed where we are now. So it'll be exciting evolution to see for sure. So I wanted to ask if an interior designer is thinking about building an omni-channel strategy, can each of you talk a bit like what would you suggest as first steps in order to help them go in that direction? Does anyone want to start? Cass, how about you?
Okay. I mean, I think probably getting their following built up is probably step 1, because if you don't have that following, who are you marketing to, right? And whether you're doing that with some paid advertising or, you know, just really organically growing. And a lot of that I think is engagement. I think Instagram and Facebook and probably LinkedIn as well, are just one of the friendliest places to do business, right? It's all about I scratch your back, you scratch my back. And part of the biggest way we've grown our engagement is to reach out to people that we admire and comment on their posts and share their posts and just be really generous with our time in that way in the beginning before we even had much of a following. And, organically, time little by little, that has paid off for us on the back end when they do the same thing for us. So I think that's an easy, free, good place to start, really. I don't know if you ladies have other suggestions.
That's a good one, though. Yeah, Katie, how about you?
We've seen some designers do some really great things and successfully with e-design services, maybe even through because of the last couple of years having to, think a little differently on how they're putting out their services, to find new clients, and maybe even if they want to be a little more approachable in their design services. That can come in many, many different forms, but like we've seen, for instance, sort of a design in a box. We have a designer here on our campus that also has a showroom, and she what she does is, she'll take her client's budget and, talk through with them about, kind of what they're wanting, and she'll create this design in a box. And at the end of it, it has, for your budget, here are the different products that I would source. Her design fee is built in there. So, she's, it's not just that she's handing this off for the client to do themselves. It's from, she handles the service all the way through to install, but it's, creating this, maybe it's a little more fast-paced or even just approachable design that she can, build this sort of design in a box with her clients. She might use some Pinterest boards to, build out whether or not it's mood boards or just where they can, and a platform where they can share information back and forth about what the client likes, what are the kinds of things, what's their design aesthetic, what are their favorite colors, what are some of the favorite products maybe they've seen. So they might build that back and forth or use other tools for building mood boards. And then just digital rendering tools or digital floor plans that she's going to use to share that information back and forth, like Kelly was saying, so that she can say, here's a way that this is what this room would look like, and here's how I put it together. And if this is something that the client then wants to buy and go through, then she can go through the install of that. So that's another, I think, something that's out there on the horizon. There's many, many ways that can go, but certainly people, I'm curious and excited to see how designers are going to grow in that e-design services arena.
Yeah, me too. That sounds great. And Kelly, how about you?
Well, I think to kind of build on what both of them said is we're discussing diversifying, and as a designer, looking at who you really want to serve and understanding in what ways. So and how you can do those different things. There are different apps and software where you can put those kind of design in a box or design packages together and putting it out there. So what I would tell the designers is take control of your own diversified income and how you can recapture that arena. And so through these programs that we're helping our designers build their own private label product where they can't get shopped, and then helping to educate them in how to create these e-commerce where there are apps, mobile apps and things where they can take these renders and these boards and these pieces and create social media posts where they're able to put their own pricing on it and put it out there, and then also show it like in these lifestyle renders. So it's just, and then tracking, using different languages and different hashtags, and then really tracking that, scheduling it, being consistent and putting it out there. So, if it doesn't work at 2 p.m. on this platform, try it again at a different time of day when your target audience, is going to be buying. So it's understanding your own metrics and analytics and tracking that and making sure that you have that analytics turned on for each platform that you're putting your stuff out there, and really tracking and paying attention to that, and then making those simple modifications and tweaks. And sometimes it's just a language thing, and how they state something in their captions.
Wonderful. Great tips from you all. Thank you. So we don't have any questions, but so thank you to my panelists. This has been a really insightful conversation, and we look forward to see what you guys come up with for January market and beyond, and it will be very exciting. So thank you so much, Cass, Katie, and Kelly, for your time today. And thank you everyone watching for watching us today, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Bye.